I'm standing in the middle of my living room, and I can't breathe. Not because I'm crying, not because I'm angry, because I'm finally seeing everything clearly, and the truth is suffocating. My name is Deli Jax. I'm 32 years old, and right now I'm watching my 6-year-old son Oliver sit alone at his birthday party. The banner I spent 3 nights hand-painting hangs crooked above the dessert table. 20 cupcakes sit untouched, their frosting starting to melt under the afternoon sun streaming through the window. Oliver's wearing the paper crown I made him, but it keeps sliding down his forehead. He keeps pushing it back up. He keeps looking at the door, waiting. I invited 15 kids from his class. 12 showed up. Their parents are making small talk in the kitchen, pretending not to notice what I'm noticing, that every chair I set up for my family is empty. My mother, my father, my brother Ethan, my sister-in-law, all of them promised they'd be here. All of them knew how much this mattered to Oliver. He talked about it for weeks. He made them handmade invitations with glitter and stickers. The doorbell rings. Oliver's face lights up like someone plugged him into an electrical socket. He jumps from his chair, crown falling to the floor, and runs to the door. I follow him, my heart hammering, hoping maybe they're just late. Maybe they got stuck in traffic. Maybe there's a reasonable explanation. It's Mrs. Chen from next door with her twin daughters. Oliver's smile falters. He picks up his crown, puts it back on, and walks back to the table without a word. Mrs. Chen sees my face and squeezes my arm. She doesn't ask where my family is. She already knows. Everyone knows. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull it out, hands shaking. It's a text from my mother. Finally, an explanation, an apology. Something. Your brother's graduation is more important, Deli. 7 words. That's all I get. 7 words that shatter the last bit of hope I was clinging to. I stare at the screen until the words blur. My throat closes. My chest tightens. Around me, kids are laughing, playing pin the tail on the donkey, eating pizza, but all I can hear is silence. The silence of empty chairs, the silence of promises broken so casually, they didn't even warrant a phone call. Oliver walks up to me, tugging on my sleeve. His eyes are wet, but he's trying so hard not to cry, trying so hard to be brave. Mama, is Grandma coming? I kneel down so we're eye level. I brush his hair back from his forehead. I force a smile that feels like broken glass, cutting through my face. I don't think so, baby. But look at all your friends who are here. They came to celebrate you. He nods. He's 6. He doesn't understand yet that sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones who hurt you the worst. He will though. One day he will. And I hate my family for teaching him that lesson. One of the moms whispers to her husband near the kitchen doorway. I hear her clearly. She doesn't bother lowering her voice enough. Her own family didn't even show up. That's the moment. That's when something inside me cracks. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet fracture, like ice splitting under pressure you can't see. I look at my phone again, at my mother's text, at the empty chairs arranged around the table like monuments to disappointment, at my son's trembling chin as he tries to enjoy a party that feels like a funeral. This isn't the first time they've done this to me. It's just the first time I'm finally letting myself see it. I put my phone down and kneel beside Oliver, whispering promises I'm not sure I can keep. But deep down, something has shifted. Something has changed. If you've ever been the one left behind by your own family, the one whose pain was always smaller than everyone else's problems, the one who kept giving until there was nothing left, you need to hear what happened next. Because what I did changed everything, and trust me, they never saw it coming. If that resonates with you, if you've ever felt invisible in your own family, stay with me. This story is for you. I spend the next hour cleaning up a party that never really happened. Marcus, my husband, helps without saying much. He knows when I need silence more than comfort. The neighbor kids leave with their goodie bags, their parents giving me sympathetic looks that make my skin crawl. Pity, that's what I've become. The woman whose family doesn't show up. Oliver falls asleep on the couch, still wearing his crown. His face is streaked with dried frosting, and tears he pretended weren't falling. Marcus covers him with a blanket and joins me in the kitchen where I'm scrubbing cupcake trays that don't need scrubbing. I just need something to do with my hands. You okay? Marcus asks. I don't answer, because I'm not okay. I'm not sure I've been okay for a very long time. My mind is racing backward through 20 years of being second place in my own family. Every birthday, every graduation, every milestone that mattered to me but never quite mattered enough to them. And the worst part, I let it happen. I made excuses for them. I convinced myself they were busy, they were stressed, they were dealing with their own problems. I made myself smaller so they wouldn't have to feel bad about making me small. My brother Ethan has always been the golden child, the star athlete in high school, the scholarship student in college, the one my parents bragged about at every family gathering, every church function, every neighborhood barbecue. He's 24 now, graduating from business school this weekend. That's why they're not here. That's why my son cried at his birthday party. Because Ethan's graduation party planning was more important than showing up for a 6-year-old. I was the responsible one, the quiet one, the one who helped without being asked, and never complained when I wasn't thanked. I was 17 when my father's construction business nearly went bankrupt. I remember sitting at the kitchen table, acceptance letters spread in front of me, full ride to state, partial scholarship to city college, even an acceptance to my dream school 3 states away. My mother didn't look at them. She was doing bills, her reading glasses sliding down her nose, her mouth set in that tight line that meant money was bad again. "Deli, you understand, don't you?" she said without looking up. "Ethan's got that scholarship opportunity, but we need to cover room and board. It's $15,000. We just don't have it right now." I looked at my acceptance letters, at my future spread out in glossy brochures. "What about my college fund?" I asked quietly. She finally looked up. Her eyes were tired. Guilty maybe, but determined. "Ethan's future is more important right now. You can go to community college. Work part-time. You're so capable, Deli. You'll figure it out. Ethan needs this opportunity." I nodded. I always nodded. I always understood. I took the community college acceptance. I got a job at a grocery store. I gave them $12,000 from my college fund. They promised they'd pay me back when things got better. They never did. Things never got better. Or maybe they did, but there was always something else Ethan needed: a car, an apartment, a suit for interviews, and I was always capable, always strong enough to handle it. My phone buzzes on the counter, pulling me back to the present. Marcus and I both look at it. It's my father this time. "We need to talk about Ethan's graduation party. Your mother and I were thinking you could contribute $2,200. It's family, Deli. You know how important this is." I read it 3 times. $2,200. For a party I won't even be thanked for funding. For a brother who didn't show up to my son's birthday. For parents who just told me their son's party planning was more important than their grandson's actual party. Marcus reads over my shoulder. His jaw tightens. He's been patient with my family for 7 years. He's bitten his tongue at every missed holiday, every broken promise, every time I've handed them money we didn't have while making excuses about why we couldn't afford date nights or vacations. "You're not giving them that money," he says. It's not a question. I don't respond. Not yet. Instead, I open my laptop. My hands are shaking, but my mind is suddenly perfectly clear. "What are you doing?" Marcus asks. Something I should have done years ago. I open a new spreadsheet. I title it "The Real Cost." And then I start digging. Bank statements, old emails, text messages I never deleted. Every transaction, every promise, every dollar I gave them that was supposed to be temporary. Every sacrifice I made that was supposed to matter. The numbers start adding up. 500 here, 2,000 there, 8,000 for my father's business loan that was supposed to be paid back in 6 months, 3,000 for my mother's dental work, 4,500 for Ethan's car down payment. On and on and on. It's 2 in the morning when I finally stop typing. Marcus fell asleep on the couch hours ago. The house is quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the click of my keyboard. The total at the bottom of the spreadsheet makes my stomach turn. $43,000. In 10 years, I've given my family $43,000. Money that could have bought us a house. Money that could have been Oliver's college fund. Money that could have been our emergency savings, our retirement, our future. Instead, it paid for Ethan's dreams, for my parents' mistakes, for a family that never once asked if I needed help, because I was capable, because I was strong, because I would always figure it out. I pull up my email and start drafting a message. Not to my parents. Not yet. First, I need to know exactly what I'm dealing with. I need to understand the full scope of the betrayal I'm starting to uncover. I email my Aunt Linda, my father's sister. She's always been kind to me, but stayed out of family drama. I keep the message simple. "Aunt Linda, I have a strange question. 5 years ago, did Mom and Dad mention anything to you about taking out a business loan? I'm trying to sort through some financial paperwork, and I'm confused about something with my name on it. I hit send before I can second guess myself. Then I do something I should have done months ago. I pull my credit report. The website loads slowly. I enter my information, verify my identity, wait for the report to generate. When it finally appears on screen, I have to read it twice, then 3 times, because what I'm seeing can't be real. There are 3 credit card accounts I never opened, 2 personal loans I never signed for, thousands of dollars in debt attached to my name, dragging my credit score down into a range that explains everything: why we were denied for a mortgage last year, why my car loan interest rate was so high, why every credit card application I submitted came back rejected. My hands start shaking so badly, I almost drop the laptop. Marcus stirs on the couch, but doesn't wake up. I'm glad. I need to process this alone. I need to understand what this means. My parents destroyed my credit. They used my identity without permission. They opened accounts in my name, and never told me. And when I struggled financially, when I couldn't understand why doors kept closing in my face, they said nothing. They just kept asking for more money, more help, more sacrifice. The betrayal is so enormous, so complete, that I can't even cry. I just sit there in the dark, staring at proof that the people who raised me, who taught me right from wrong, who told me family was everything, committed fraud against me, their daughter. For years, my phone lights up with a response from Aunt Linda. What loan, sweetheart? I don't know anything about a loan with your name on it. Are you okay? No, I want to type back. I'm not okay. I'm not sure I've ever been okay. Instead, I screenshot my credit report. I save every document, every text message, every email, every piece of evidence, because something has shifted inside me, something cold and clear, and absolutely done with being the family's silent bank account. They want $2,200 for Ethan's party. Fine, I'll give them something worth much more than that. I'll give them consequences. I take a personal day from work on Monday. I tell my boss it's a family emergency, which isn't exactly a lie. Then I drive downtown to an office building I found through 3 hours of research on Sunday night. The law firm of Chen and Associates specializes in family fraud and identity theft. Their website showed a woman named Rebecca Chen, who looked competent and serious in her professional photo. Her bio mentioned she grew up in a close-knit family and understands how complicated these situations can be. That's what I need. Someone who understands but won't tell me to just forgive and forget. The office is on the 14th floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the city. The receptionist is younger than me, wearing a headset and typing rapidly while directing calls. She smiles when I approach. Deli Jacks. Miss Chen is ready for you. Rebecca Chen's office is exactly what I expected. Organized. Professional. Diplomas on the wall. A photo of her with 2 teenagers on her desk. She stands when I enter, shaking my hand with a firm grip. Miss Jacks, please sit. You mentioned on the phone this involves family members using your identity. I sit in the leather chair across from her desk and pull out the folder I prepared. It's 2 inches thick. Bank statements, credit reports, text messages, emails. A timeline I created showing every transaction, every request, every promise of repayment that never came. I spread everything across her desk like a prosecutor presenting evidence at trial. She picks up the first document, my credit report with the fraudulent accounts highlighted, and reads in silence. Then the bank statements. Then the text messages, where my parents asked for money, and I said yes, every single time. Her expression doesn't change, but I see her jaw tighten. I see her fingers curl slightly around the papers. Finally, after what feels like an hour but is probably 10 minutes, she looks up at me. Miss Jacks, you have grounds for a serious lawsuit. Your parents committed identity theft and fraud. This is criminal. You could press charges. You could sue for damages, for the destruction of your credit, for emotional distress. This is a strong case. The word criminal hangs in the air between us. My parents criminals. The people who raised me, who took me to church every Sunday, who taught me to say please and thank you, who told me stealing was wrong while they were stealing my identity. I can see you're conflicted, Rebecca says gently. This is your family. I understand that makes this complicated. I don't want them in jail, I hear myself say. I don't want a big trial. I don't want to drag this through court for years. I pause, trying to find the right words. I just want them to understand. I want them to feel what I felt. I want consequences without being the villain. Rebecca leans back in her chair, studying me. Then she smiles. It's small, professional, but there's something almost satisfied in it. Then we're going to need a different strategy. One that's perfectly legal but absolutely brutal. She opens her laptop and starts typing. I watch her work, feeling something unfamiliar building in my chest. Not anger, not even satisfaction. Something colder, something like justice. First, she says, fingers flying over the keyboard, we're going to file disputes on all fraudulent accounts. That triggers automatic investigations. The credit card companies and banks will contact your parents, demanding proof they had your permission to open these accounts. They can't provide that proof, because it doesn't exist. What happens when they can't provide proof? I ask. The accounts get flagged as fraudulent. Your credit gets cleaned up. And your parents face potential criminal charges from the financial institutions. Banks don't like fraud. They pursue it aggressively. She keeps typing. Second, we're going to send a formal demand letter for repayment of all documented loans you provided them. We'll calculate interest at the legal maximum rate. That $43,000, with interest over 10 years, it's closer to $68,000 now. My throat tightens. $68,000. That's a house down payment. That's Oliver's college fund. That's my entire financial future I handed them. Third, Rebecca says. And now she's definitely smiling. We're going to time this perfectly. When is your brother's graduation party? Saturday. 6 days from now. Perfect. We'll have everything delivered by courier on Saturday morning, 3 hours before the party starts. Just enough time for panic to set in. Not enough time to do anything about it. She spins her laptop around so I can see what she's drafting. It's a legal demand letter on official firm letterhead. It's cold, professional, devastating. It outlines every fraudulent account, every dollar they owe, every law they broke, and it gives them 30 days to respond with full repayment, or face a lawsuit and potential criminal prosecution. This won't destroy them, Rebecca says carefully, but it will shake them. It will force them to face what they did, and it will protect you legally going forward. Once they receive this, they can't claim ignorance. They can't say you approved these accounts. Everything is documented. I stare at the letter, at my parents' names typed in cold black ink, at the number $68,000. That represents 20 years of being invisible in my own family. There's one more thing, I say quietly. I pull out a separate envelope from my purse. Can you include this with the legal documents? Rebecca opens it. Inside are printed screenshots of text messages. My desperate requests for my parents to come to my wedding, to Oliver's baptism, to my college graduation that I finally completed at 29, while working full-time and raising a toddler alone because Marcus was deployed. Their responses, can't make it. Something came up. Ethan has a game. At the bottom is a photo from Oliver's birthday party. Him sitting alone at the table, crown sliding down, trying not to cry. The empty chairs arranged around him like tombstones. And below that, a single sentence I typed this morning. This is what $68,000 bought you. A grandson who thinks his grandparents don't love him. Rebecca reads everything. When she looks up, her eyes are softer. You're not just going after their money, she says. You're going after their conscience. If they have one, I reply. She adds the envelope to the packet. Then she prints everything, organizes it into 3 separate folders, one for my mother, one for my father, one for the credit bureaus, and seals them in official courier envelopes. Are you sure about this? She asks, her hand resting on the envelopes. Once these are delivered, there's no taking it back. Your family will know you took legal action. They'll be angry. They'll feel betrayed. I think about Oliver's birthday party. About 20 years of being second place. About $43,000. I'll never get back. About fraudulent accounts, destroying my credit while I wondered what I was doing wrong. They betrayed me first, I say. For years I'm just making sure they finally understand what that cost. Rebecca nods. Then we're doing this. I'll arrange courier delivery for Saturday morning, 9 a.m. You should prepare yourself. They'll call. They'll text. They'll probably show up at your house. Don't engage. Don't respond. Let the legal process work. I leave her office 3 hours and $4,000 later. The retainer fee emptied most of my emergency fund. But as I walk to my car, folder of copies in my hand, I feel something I haven't felt in years. I feel powerful, not cruel, not vengeful, just powerful. Like I finally stopped letting people use my strength against me. I have 6 days to decide if I'm really going through with this. 6 days before I detonate a bomb in the middle of my brother's perfect graduation celebration. 6 days to either pull back or commit completely. But deep down, I already know. I'm not pulling back. Not this time. This time they're going to face the consequences of every choice they made, every promise they broke, every dollar they took, every moment they made me feel small. This time I'm choosing me. 4 days before Ethan's graduation, a formal invitation arrives in the mail, heavy cardstock with gold embossing, my mother's careful handwriting addressing the envelope. Inside, details about a party at Marcello's, an upscale Italian restaurant downtown, 200 guests, cocktail hour with open bar, dinner with a live jazz band, a photo slideshow celebrating Ethan's accomplishments. At the bottom in my mother's looping script, Deli, we're counting on your contribution. Please send the $2,200 by Friday. Love, Mom. Love, Mom. Like love is measured in wire transfers and sacrifices. Like love means funding parties you're not even sure you're invited to celebrate. I take a photo of the invitation and text it to Rebecca. Her response comes within minutes. Perfect. Don't send them anything. Don't respond. Let them think you're complying. Radio silence until Saturday morning. But my mother doesn't wait for my response. She calls that evening while I'm making spaghetti for dinner. Oliver is at the table coloring. Marcus is chopping salad. The phone rings, her name flashing on the screen. I let it ring 4 times. My heart is hammering. My hands are shaking as I stir sauce that doesn't need stirring. You should answer, Marcus says quietly. Or she'll just keep calling. He's right. I answer on the last ring before it goes to voicemail. Deli, honey, did you get my note? Her voice is bright, cheerful, the way it always is when she wants something. About the contribution for Saturday. I got it, I say carefully. Oliver looks up from his coloring, sensing something in my tone. Wonderful. So you'll transfer the money tomorrow. We need to finalize numbers with the caterer by Thursday night. They're being very particular about the deposit. She doesn't ask if I can afford it. Doesn't ask if $2,200 is easy for us to spare right now. Just assumes I'll comply. Because I always have. Actually, Mom, I need to talk to you and Dad about something. Something important. There's a pause. I hear her sigh. Can it wait until after the graduation? We're so busy right now. Sweetheart. The party planning has been so stressful, and your father's dealing with some business issues, and Ethan is overwhelmed with finals. Can it wait a week or 2? Of course it can wait. Everything about me can always wait. No, I hear myself say. The word comes out stronger than I expected. It can't wait. I'll see you at the party on Saturday. Well, if it's that urgent, maybe we can talk Friday night. Though I'm not sure what time we'll be free. Saturday, I repeat. I'll see you Saturday. I hang up before she can respond. My hands are shaking so hard I almost drop the phone. Oliver is watching me with wide eyes. Marcus has stopped chopping and is just staring. You really did it, Marcus says. I really did it, I confirm. My mother calls back immediately. Then my father, then my mother again. I silence my phone and put it face down on the counter. Marcus walks over and wraps his arms around me from behind, his chin resting on my shoulder. I'm proud of you, he whispers. Those words crack something inside me. Because I realize my parents have never said them. Not when I graduated high school. Not when I got my associate's degree while working full-time. Not when I married Marcus. Not when I gave birth to Oliver. Not once in 32 years have they told me they're proud of me. That night I can't sleep. I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, playing out scenarios in my head, how they'll react, what they'll say, whether they'll understand or just be angry. Part of me still feels guilty. That part was trained into me over decades. The part that says family means sacrifice. The part that says speaking up makes you selfish. But there's a new part now. A part that remembers Oliver's birthday party. The empty chairs, his trembling lip. The way he asked if Grandma was coming and I had to lie and say I didn't know. That part feels no guilt at all. Around 2 in the morning, I get up and go to Oliver's room. He's asleep, clutching the stuffed dinosaur. Marcus won him at a carnival 3 years ago. His birthday crown is on his nightstand. He kept it. Even after they didn't show up, he kept it. I sit on the edge of his bed and brush his hair back from his forehead. He doesn't wake up, just shifts slightly and sighs in his sleep. He looks peaceful. Innocent, unburdened by adult betrayals and family politics. I make a silent promise to him in the dark. I promise I'll never let anyone make him feel the way my family made me feel. I promise he'll grow up knowing his worth isn't measured by what he can give others. I promise he'll never have to choose between being loved and being used. And if that means burning bridges with my parents, then those bridges were built on rotten wood anyway. The next 2 days pass in a strange blur. I go to work. I smile at coworkers. I answer emails. I attend meetings. But underneath the normalcy, I'm preparing for something that feels like war. Rebecca sends me the final documents Thursday evening. 3 courier packages ready for Saturday morning delivery. One for my mother, one for my father, one for me to keep as proof of everything we're doing. I open the PDF she sends and read through the legal demand letter one more time. It's devastating in its precision. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Jacks, this letter serves as formal demand for repayment of loans provided by your daughter Deli Jacks between 2013 and 2023, totaling $43,000 in principal, with calculated interest at the maximum legal rate of 10% annually. The current total owed is $68,247. It goes on to list every transaction, every date, every amount, cold and factual, like reading an autopsy report of my financial life. Then it details the fraudulent accounts. Additionally, our investigation has revealed 3 credit accounts opened in Miss Jacks's name without her knowledge or consent between 2018 and 2021. This constitutes identity theft under federal law, Section 1028 of Title 18, United States Code. Credit disputes have been filed. Investigations are underway. Failure to provide documented proof of authorization within 15 days will result in formal fraud charges. At the bottom, you have 30 days from receipt of this letter to respond with a repayment plan or face civil lawsuit and potential criminal prosecution. All future communication must go through this law office. I read it 3 times. Each time I feel a little less guilty and a little more certain. But there's something else in the packet. Something I asked Rebecca to include separate from the legal documents. A personal envelope, containing everything I printed out days ago. The text messages begging them to show up for important events. The emails asking for help that went unanswered. The photos from Oliver's birthday showing empty chairs and a heartbroken child. And at the bottom, that single number in red ink, $68,247. Below it I wrote, "This is what you taught me family means. This is what your love cost. Consider us even now." Marcus reads everything over my shoulder Thursday night after Oliver goes to bed. He's quiet for a long time. "That's going to destroy them," he finally says. "Good," I whisper. "They destroyed me slowly over 20 years. At least I'm giving them the mercy of doing it quickly." Friday drags. My phone rings constantly. My mother, my father, my mother again. Text messages. "Deli, we need that money by tonight. The caterer is calling. Please respond. This is important." I don't answer. Don't respond. Rebecca told me not to engage, and I'm following her instructions exactly. Let them panic. Let them wonder. Let them feel a fraction of the anxiety I've felt for years trying to keep up with their demands. Friday night, Marcus and I sit on the couch after Oliver is asleep. I'm holding a glass of wine. I'm not drinking, just holding it, watching the liquid catch the light. "You can still back out," Marcus says gently. "The couriers don't deliver until tomorrow morning. You could call Rebecca right now and cancel everything." I think about that. I really do. I think about taking the easy road, sending them the $2,200, showing up to the party, smiling, pretending, going back to being the family member who never causes problems, because she never stands up for herself. Then I think about Oliver's face when he asked if Grandma was coming. The hope in his eyes, the way it dimmed when I said I didn't know. "No," I say. "I'm not backing out. I'm done protecting people who never protected me." That night I sleep better than I have in weeks. Maybe because I've finally made a decision. Maybe because I've finally stopped feeling guilty for other people's choices. Or maybe because deep down I know that what I'm doing isn't revenge, it's justice. Saturday morning arrives cold and gray. I wake up at 6 and can't fall back asleep. Marcus is still snoring softly beside me. Oliver won't be up for another hour. The house is quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the tick of the clock in the hallway. I get up and make coffee, strong and black. Then I dress carefully. Black dress that hits just below my knee, pearls my grandmother left me. the only inheritance I actually received because my parents couldn't figure out how to steal jewelry that was specifically willed to me. Simple heels, hair pulled back in a neat bun. I look at myself in the mirror and barely recognize the woman staring back. I look older, harder, more serious, less like someone who apologizes for existing. At exactly 9:45, I do something Rebecca told me not to do. I drive to my parents' neighborhood and park down the street from their house. I'm far enough away that they won't see me, but close enough that I can watch. The courier van pulls up at 10 a.m. exactly. I watch a woman in a uniform get out, carrying 3 large envelopes. She walks up the driveway, rings the doorbell, waits. My father answers. He's already dressed for the party, wearing slacks and a button-down shirt. He's holding a coffee mug. He looks confused when he sees the courier. She hands him a tablet. He signs. She hands him the 3 envelopes and walks back to her van. My father stands in the doorway for a moment, looking at the packages, all certified, all official-looking with the law firm's return address clearly visible. I watch him close the door. I imagine him walking to the kitchen where my mother is probably finishing her makeup or checking catering confirmations. I imagine him setting down his coffee mug, opening the first envelope, reading the first paragraph, his face going pale. My phone starts buzzing. My mother calling. I silence it. It buzzes again immediately. My father this time. Silence. Then a text from my mother. Call me now. Then another. What have you done? Then my father. We need to talk immediately. I don't respond to any of them. I just sit in my car, watching their house, feeling something that might be satisfaction or might be grief. Probably both. 20 minutes later, my mother bursts out the front door. She's in her bathrobe, hair half done, phone pressed to her ear. She's pacing the driveway, gesturing wildly with her free hand. Even from here I can see the panic in her movements. My father appears next, fully dressed now, keys in hand. They're arguing. He's pointing back at the house. She's shaking her head. She gets in the passenger seat. He gets in the driver's side. They peel out of the driveway fast enough that I hear the tires squeal. They're probably going to their lawyer, probably hoping someone can make this disappear before the party starts at 1 p.m. They can't. Rebecca made sure of that. The credit investigations are triggered automatically. The fraud claims are filed with the banks. The legal demand is valid and enforceable. There's no way to undo any of it, no matter how many lawyers they call on a Saturday morning. I start my car and drive home. I have 2 hours to get ready for a party where I'm about to become the villain, where my family will probably confront me, where my brother will finally see that his perfect life was built on someone else's stolen foundation. When I get home, Marcus is making pancakes. Oliver is at the table in his pajamas, watching cartoons on Marcus's phone. Everything is so normal, so peaceful, and I'm about to walk into chaos. How was surveillance? Marcus asks quietly, flipping a pancake. Exactly what I expected. They're panicking. My phone buzzes again. A text from Ethan this time. What the hell did you do, Deli? Mom is losing her mind. Dad's talking about canceling the party. This is my day. How could you be so selfish? I read it 3 times. The word selfish burns. After everything I've given this family, after every sacrifice, he's calling me selfish for finally standing up for myself. I type back 5 words. Ask them about the loans. Send. Block his number. Done. Oliver looks up from his pancakes. Are we going to Uncle Ethan's party today? I exchange a look with Marcus. We discussed this. We agreed we're going. Because if I don't show up, they'll use it against me. They'll say I was too ashamed to face them, that I knew I was wrong. No, I'm going. I'm walking in there with my head high. Yes, baby, I tell Oliver. We're going to the party. Will Grandma be happy to see me? He asks. My heart cracks. I don't know, sweetheart. But Daddy and I will be right there with you. He seems satisfied with that answer and goes back to his pancakes. If only adult problems were so easily solved with syrup and cartoons. I spend the next 2 hours getting ready. I put on the black dress and pearls. I do my makeup carefully. Not too much, but enough that I look composed, elegant. I look like someone who has her life together, even though inside I'm terrified. Marcus wears his good suit. Oliver wears the button-down shirt and tiny bow tie that makes him look like a miniature businessman. We look like the perfect family heading to a celebration. We are the bomb about to explode it. We arrive at Marcello's at 1:15, fashionably late. The parking lot is already full. Luxury cars everywhere. Through the windows I can see the party is in full swing despite this morning's chaos. The band is playing. Guests are mingling with cocktails. Ethan is at the center of the room, surrounded by friends and admirers laughing at something someone said. My parents are standing near the entrance, greeting late arrivals. When they see me walk in, holding Oliver's hand with Marcus at my side, both of their faces change completely. My mother's smile disappears. Her face goes pale, then flushed. My father's jaw clenches so tight I can see the muscle jumping even from across the room. I walk toward them slowly, deliberately. I'm not hiding. I'm not sneaking in. I'm walking in like I have every right to be here because I do. Deli, my mother hisses, grabbing my arm and pulling me aside away from the other guests. We need to talk, right now. Not here, my father adds, his voice low and dangerous. Outside, now. Oliver clutches my hand tighter. He can feel the tension. Marcus moves closer to me, a silent show of support. No, I say calmly, quietly. Whatever you have to say, you can say it here, in front of everyone. Isn't that what you did to me? Made me feel small in public? Made me apologize for existing in spaces I was invited to? My mother's face flushes redder. You have no idea what you've done. Those letters, those accusations, they're lies, Deli. We never. Forged my signature? I interrupt, my voice still quiet but sharp as a blade. Opened credit cards in my name? Took out loans I never agreed to? Which part is a lie, Mom? People are starting to notice now. Conversations are dying down. Heads are turning. The band is still playing, but several guests near us have stopped talking and are openly watching. My father notices too. He tries to smile, tries to wave at someone across the room like everything is fine. Let's not do this here, he says through gritted teeth. It's your brother's day, don't ruin this for him. My brother's day, I repeat slowly. Something in my voice makes him flinch. Funny, nobody cared about my son's day 2 weeks ago. Nobody showed up. Nobody called to say they couldn't make it. Nobody apologized. But I'm supposed to care about this? I'm supposed to fund this party with money I don't have while you're destroying my credit score with debt I never agreed to. Lower your voice, my mother hisses, looking around frantically. More people are staring now. Even the band has noticed something is wrong. The music is quieter. Why, I ask, and my voice is perfectly calm, perfectly clear. Why should I lower my voice? I've been quiet for 20 years. I've been understanding. I've been the bigger person. Where did that get me? It got me a 6-year-old son who cried at his birthday party because his grandparents didn't love him enough to show up. My mother's eyes fill with tears. It's her signature move, the guilt trip, the way she's always turned herself into the victim when confronted with her own behavior. How can you be so cruel, she whispers, her voice breaking. After everything we've done for you. That's when I laugh. Actually laugh. It's not a happy sound. It's the sound of something breaking. Everything you've done for me? I pull out my phone and open the photos I saved. Let me show everyone what you've done for me. I hold up my phone. On the screen is a photo of Oliver sitting alone at his birthday party. His crown is crooked. His face is streaked with tears he's trying to wipe away. The empty chairs around him look like monuments to abandonment. The room goes completely silent. Even the band stops playing. Everyone is staring at the photo. At me. At my parents. This, I say, my voice carrying across the restaurant, is my 6-year-old son. 2 weeks ago we threw him a birthday party. He invited his grandparents, his aunt, his uncle, his family. Do you know how many showed up? Nobody answers. Ethan has pushed through the crowd. He's standing frozen, staring at the photo of his nephew crying. 0, I continue. 0 family members came, because that same day they were all here, planning this party, planning how to celebrate the golden child while my son cried himself to sleep wondering why his grandma didn't love him enough to show up. My mother tries to speak but I hold up my hand. I'm not finished. I swipe to the next photo. It's a screenshot of my bank account from 5 years ago, showing a transfer of $8,000 to my father. This was supposed to be for a temporary business emergency. I never saw it again. Swipe. Another screenshot. This was for Ethan's car down payment, $4,500, never repaid. Swipe. This was for Mom's medical bills, $3,000. Swipe. Swipe. Each photo a different transaction, a different promise, a different betrayal. For 20 years, I say, my voice steady despite the way my hands are shaking. I've been the family bank, the family therapist, the family maid. I paid for Ethan's college while I went to community college. I paid for Dad's business loans. I paid for everyone's emergencies. I gave up my wedding fund, my emergency savings, my son's college fund, all for this family. I swipe to the final photo, the credit report showing fraudulent accounts highlighted in yellow. And this is what I got in return. Destroyed credit, debt I never signed for, years of financial struggle while I wondered why I couldn't get approved for a mortgage, why every loan application was denied, why doors kept slamming in my face. My father's face has gone from red to white. My mother is crying openly now, makeup running down her face. But I feel nothing. No sympathy, no guilt, just cold, clear purpose. I came here today to give you all a gift, I say, pulling the personal envelope from my purse. Consider it my contribution to Ethan's graduation. I hand it to my brother. His hands are shaking as he opens it. I watch his face as he reads. The text messages where I begged them to come to my wedding. The emails asking for help that went ignored. The photos from Oliver's birthday. The final bill, $68,247. That's what your perfect life cost. My son's birthday party. My credit score. My financial future. My dignity. Ethan looks up at me, and for the first time in his life I see shame in his eyes. Deli, I didn't know, he starts. You didn't want to know, I correct him. None of you did, because it was easier to take than to acknowledge what you were taking from. I turn to face the crowd. 200 guests staring at this family drama like it's a performance. Maybe it is. Maybe this is the performance I should have given years ago. I'm sorry you all had to witness this, I say, my voice carrying. But I've spent 20 years being quiet, being understanding, being the bigger person, and today I'm done. Today I'm choosing me. I look at my parents one last time. My mother has collapsed in a chair, sobbing into her hands. My father is standing rigid, staring at the floor, unable to meet my eyes. Ethan is still holding the envelope like it might explode. The legal documents you received this morning are real, I tell them, my voice clear and cold. The investigations are real. The debt disputes are real. You'll be hearing from credit bureaus, banks, and possibly law enforcement. I've documented everything, and if you try to retaliate, if you try to paint me as the villain, I have lawyers who will make sure everyone knows exactly what you did. I turn to leave. Marcus takes Oliver's hand. We start walking toward the exit. Behind me I hear my mother's voice, broken and desperate. Deli, please. We're family, you can't do this to family. I stop walking, turn back, and say the words I've been holding in for 20 years. You're right, Mom, I say, my voice echoing in the silent restaurant. You can't do this to family, but you did. For 20 years you did. And I let you because I thought being family meant sacrifice. I thought it meant being the strong one, the reliable one, the one who always understood. I take a step closer to her, and she actually flinches. But family isn't supposed to destroy your credit score. Family isn't supposed to make your child cry on his birthday because they couldn't be bothered to show up. You taught me what family isn't, and now I'm teaching you what consequences are. My father finally speaks, his voice hoarse. We can fix this. We can pay you back. Just drop the legal action. Please, Deli. With what money? I ask. The money you spent on this $15,000 party? The money you spent on Ethan's car? His apartment? His tuition? You can't pay me back because you never intended to. You thought I'd just keep giving forever because that's what I always did. I look around the room at all the guests watching, at the expensive floral arrangements, at the open bar with top-shelf liquor, at the custom cake that probably cost more than I spent on Oliver's entire party. This party probably cost more than I make in 4 months. I say, money you claimed you didn't have when I asked for help with Oliver's medical bills last year. Money you said you couldn't spare when I needed a co-signer for my car loan. But for Ethan? For the golden child? Suddenly money appears out of thin air. Ethan finally speaks, his voice small and broken. I'll pay you back, Deli. I swear. I'll get a job. I'll make monthly payments. This isn't about the money anymore, Ethan. This is about respect. This is about being seen. This is about 20 years of being invisible in my own family while you were the sun everyone orbited around. I reach into my purse and pull out one more thing. Oliver's birthday invitation from 2 weeks ago. I hand it to Ethan. Keep this, I tell him. Frame it. Put it somewhere you'll see it every day. And remember that your graduation party cost a 6-year-old boy his belief that his family loved him. The room is so quiet I can hear the air conditioning humming overhead. Marcus squeezes my hand. It's time to go. I hope the party is everything you dreamed of, I say to no one in particular. I hope the food is delicious and the music is perfect and everyone has a wonderful time celebrating. Because this is the last family event I'll ever attend. The last time I'll show up for people who never showed up for me. We start walking toward the exit again. This time nobody tries to stop us. But then a voice calls out from the crowd. Deli, wait. It's my Aunt Linda. She's pushing through the guests, her face wet with tears. She grabs my hand. I'm so sorry, she whispers urgently. I should have said something years ago. I saw what they were doing and I stayed silent. I'm so sorry. I squeeze her hand back. It's not your fault, Aunt Linda. It is, she insists. I watched them use you. I watched them take and take and take. And I told myself it wasn't my business. But it was. Family means speaking up when someone you love is being hurt, even if it makes everyone uncomfortable. I can see she means it. I can see the guilt and regret in her eyes. But I can't absolve her right now. I can't make anyone feel better about their choices. I need to get my son out of here before he understands too much about adult cruelty. Thank you for saying that, I tell her. It means something. She nods, stepping back. If you ever need anything at all. I nod. But we both know I won't call. I can't surround myself with people who watched me drown and did nothing, even if they're sorry now. Marcus, Oliver and I walk out of the restaurant into the cold afternoon. The sky is gray and heavy, like it might rain. Oliver is quiet, holding my hand tight. Mama, why was everyone upset? He asks as we walk to the car. Because sometimes telling the truth makes people uncomfortable, I tell him. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't tell it. He thinks about this. Is Grandma mad at you? Probably, I admit. Are you sad? I stop walking and kneel down so we're eye level. You know what, baby? I'm not sad. I'm actually proud of myself, because I stood up for us, for you and me and Daddy, and that's what matters. He hugs me tight. I'm proud of you too, Mama. And just like that I start crying. Not sad tears, not angry tears, just release, like something I've been holding for decades finally broke free. We drive home in silence. Marcus holds my hand across the console. Oliver falls asleep in the back seat, and I stare out the window, watching the city pass by, feeling lighter than I have in years. When we pull into our driveway, my phone starts buzzing. Text after text after text. My mother, my father, relatives I haven't heard from in years suddenly weighing in. I turn off my phone without reading any of them. Whatever they have to say can wait. Right now I just want to go inside my house with my family, my real family, and let the rest of the world deal with the consequences of their own choices. The next 3 weeks are chaos, but I'm not part of it. I watch from a distance as my family implodes, like observing a car crash through a rearview mirror. The credit bureau investigations move faster than I expected. Within 4 days, my parents are contacted by multiple banks demanding proof of authorization for the accounts opened in my name. They can't provide it because it doesn't exist. The accounts are flagged as fraudulent. Letters arrive stating the accounts will be closed and removed from my credit report within 30 days. My credit score jumps 40 points overnight. Rebecca calls with updates every few days. She sounds almost gleeful, which should probably concern me, but instead it's weirdly comforting, like having a lawyer who enjoys justice as much as I do. Your father's business partner found out about the fraud, she tells me on a Tuesday afternoon. He's officially dissolving their partnership. Apparently he can't have his company associated with someone under investigation for identity theft. Are they actually being investigated, I ask? By the banks, yes. They're treating it as fraud, which is standard procedure. Whether criminal charges get filed depends on what the banks decide to do, but either way the business reputation is destroyed. I should feel guilty about that, about my father's business crumbling, about the partnership he spent 30 years building falling apart. I don't. Clients are pulling contracts, Rebecca continues. Word spreads fast in business communities. Nobody wants to work with someone who steals from family. If they'll do it to their daughter, what will they do to clients? What about the demand letter, I ask? For the repayment? No response yet. They have 30 days, we're at day 19. After that we file a civil lawsuit. Will they be able to pay? Honestly? Probably not. Their assets are tied up in the house and the failing business. They might have to declare bankruptcy. I think about that. My parents, who always seem to have just enough money for Ethan's needs but never enough for mine, filing bankruptcy, losing their house, losing everything they built. How do you feel about that? Rebecca asks gently. I don't know, I admit. I thought I'd feel victorious, or vindicated, but mostly I just feel empty. That's normal, she says. You didn't just lose your parents' money. You lost the fantasy of who you thought they were. That's a different kind of grief. She's right. I'm grieving, not for the people they actually are, but for the people I needed them to be. The parents who would have protected me instead of using me. The family who would have shown up. My mother tries to rally the extended family against me. I know because Aunt Linda calls and tells me. Apparently my mother has been calling aunts, uncles, cousins, painting me as ungrateful and cruel, telling everyone I'm tearing the family apart over money, making herself the victim. But Aunt Linda speaks up. She tells them what she witnessed over the years, how they used me as a bank, how they missed Oliver's birthday for party planning, how they opened accounts in my name without permission. Other relatives start sharing their own stories. An uncle mentions lending my father money that was never repaid. A cousin talks about being pressured to help with Ethan's tuition. A pattern emerges that I was just one victim in a larger scheme of financial manipulation. The narrative shifts. I'm no longer the ungrateful daughter. I'm the whistleblower, the one who finally said enough. Ethan's graduation party becomes infamous in our community. People talk about it for weeks. The dramatic confrontation, the public exposure, the family secrets revealed. Some people think I was too harsh. Others think I was too kind. I don't care what any of them think anymore. I focus on healing, on rebuilding, on being present for Oliver and Marcus. Then, exactly 3 weeks after the party, a letter arrives. Handwritten, my mother's shaky cursive addressing the envelope. Inside is a check for $500 and a 2-page letter. I stare at the envelope for a full hour, sitting at my kitchen table, unable to make myself open it. Marcus finds me there when he gets home from work. Is that from them? I nod. Do you want me to open it? He offers. No, I say quietly. I need to do this. I open the envelope carefully, like it might contain something explosive. In a way it does. I read my mother's letter 3 times. Each time I feel something different. The first time anger. The second time sadness. The third time, something close to pity. She doesn't apologize for the fraud, doesn't apologize for the stolen money, or the destroyed credit, or the missed birthday party. Instead, she explains. She tells me about the pressure she felt to give Ethan opportunities she never had, about growing up poor and wanting better for her children, about the shame of financial struggle, about the fear of losing the house, the business, the standing in the community they built over decades. "We never meant to hurt you," she writes in her slanting script. "We just thought you were strong enough to handle it. You were always so capable, so independent, so good at figuring things out. We didn't think you needed us the way Ethan did." That line breaks something in me. Not because it's true, but because she actually believes it. She convinced herself that taking advantage of my strength was somehow different than taking advantage, that my capability gave her permission to exploit me. The letter continues with promises to pay me back, to make things right, to rebuild our relationship. The $500 is supposed to be a first installment, proof of her commitment. $500 out of $68,000. It would take her 14 years to pay me back at this rate, assuming she never misses a payment. The letter ends with, "Please, Deli, you're my daughter. I love you. Can we talk? Can we fix this? I can't lose you too." Like she's lost something else. I wonder what that means. The business? The reputation? Or maybe Ethan, who apparently moved out after the party, and isn't speaking to them either. I show the letter to Marcus. He reads it in silence, his jaw getting tighter with each paragraph. "What are you going to do?" he asks when he finishes. "I don't know," I admit. Part of me wants to tear up the check and the letter, and never speak to them again. Part of me wants to believe they can change. "Can they?" he asks. I think about that question for a long time. Can people change? Can parents who spent 20 years taking finally learn to give? Can a family built on imbalance find equilibrium? "I don't think so," I finally say. "Not really. They might change their behavior out of fear or necessity, but their fundamental belief, that Ethan's needs matter more than mine, that my strength means I don't deserve support, I don't think that will ever change." "So what are you going to do?" Marcus asks again. I take out a piece of paper and start writing my own letter. It's shorter than my mother's, more direct. "Dear Mom and Dad, thank you for the check and the letter. I appreciate the gesture. However, I won't be accepting any more payments from you. Consider the debt forgiven, not because you deserve forgiveness, but because I deserve freedom. I'm releasing you from the financial obligation, but I'm also releasing myself from the emotional one. I don't want your money. I don't want your explanations. I don't want a relationship built on guilt and obligation. What I want is peace, and I've realized I can only find that by letting go completely. Deli." I read it to Marcus. He's quiet for a moment. "You're forgiving $68,000? He asks carefully. "I'm not forgiving it," I correct him. "I'm releasing it. There's a difference. They still owe it. They still did what they did. But I'm choosing not to let it control my life anymore. The legal protections are in place. The fraudulent accounts are removed. My credit is recovering. Chasing repayment means staying connected to them for years. Monthly payments, constant contact. I can't heal if I'm still attached." Marcus nods slowly. "I think that's brave." "Or stupid," I say with a weak laugh. "No," he says firmly. "It's brave. You're choosing peace over revenge. That takes strength." I mail the letter the next morning. Along with it I include one final thing. Oliver's next birthday party invitation, dated 6 months in the future. No note, no explanation, just the invitation, the date, time, location, RSVP by November 15th, a test, a choice, a final chance to show up or prove who they really are. 6 months pass. I don't hear from my parents after they receive my letter. No calls, no texts, no attempts to bridge the gap I've created. The silence is answer enough. But in that silence, something unexpected happens. I start to heal. Without the constant drain of family obligations, our finances stabilize. Marcus and I save for the first time in years. We open a college fund for Oliver. We plan a real vacation, Disney World, something we never could have afforded before. Small steps, but they feel monumental because they're not shadowed by guilt over money I should be sending elsewhere. My credit score improves dramatically. With the fraudulent accounts removed, I'm suddenly financially viable again. We apply for a mortgage. We get approved. We buy a small house with a backyard where Oliver can play. It's not huge or fancy, but it's ours. Truly, completely ours. No one else's name on the deed. No one else's debt attached to it. I start therapy. Not because I'm broken, but because I want to understand how I let myself be used for so long. Dr. Sarah's office is calm and quiet, decorated in soft blues and grays. She's in her 50s, with kind eyes and a way of asking questions that makes you think harder than you expected. "You were trained from childhood to be the family's emotional and financial support system," she tells me during one session. "That's not a role you chose. It was assigned to you, and now you're learning to choose differently." She's right. Every day I'm choosing differently. choosing myself, choosing my son, choosing peace over obligation. We talk about boundaries, about how saying no isn't selfish, it's self-preservation, about how love shouldn't cost you your financial security and mental health, about how family is supposed to be a support system, not a drain. Do you think they'll show up? Dr. Sarah asks one day, to Oliver's birthday party. No, I say honestly, I don't. Then why send the invitation? Because I needed to give them one last chance. Not for them, for me. So I know I tried everything, so I never have to wonder if I gave up too soon. She nods. That's healthy. You're not closing the door out of anger. You're leaving it open while building a life that doesn't require them to walk through it. Oliver thrives in ways I didn't expect. Without the tension of disappointing grandparents, without the confusion of being ignored by family, he becomes lighter, happier. He makes friends at school easily. He joins soccer and discovers he loves being a goalie. He laughs more, deeper, the kind of belly laughs that make everything else disappear. One night as I'm tucking him into bed, he asks the question I've been dreading. Mama, are Grandma and Grandpa going to come to my birthday party? The invitation I sent sits unanswered. The RSVP deadline passed 3 weeks ago. I don't know, baby, I tell him honestly. But you know what? Whether they come or not, we're going to have the best party ever, because the people who truly love you will be there. He thinks about this, his face serious in the glow of his nightlight. Like Daddy, he asks, and Aunt Linda, and my friends from soccer? Exactly like them, I confirm, kissing his forehead. He falls asleep easily, unburdened by adult complications. I envy that innocence even as I'm grateful I can protect it. 2 weeks before Oliver's 7th birthday, a package arrives. It's addressed to him, postmarked from my parents' city. Inside is an expensive toy, a remote control car he mentioned wanting months ago during a rare phone call with my mother. There's no card, no note, no birthday wishes, just the gift. I stare at it for a long time, trying to decode the message. Is this an apology? An olive branch? A transaction to replace their presents? Or just guilt, wrapped in cardboard and tape? Marcus finds me in the living room, holding the box. What are you going to do with it? He asks. Give it to Oliver, I say. It's addressed to him. But I'm going to be honest about where it came from. I'm not going to pretend it came with love if it didn't come with presents. That's fair, Marcus agrees. When Oliver gets home from school, I show him the package. His eyes light up when he sees the car. It's from Grandma and Grandpa, I tell him. For your birthday. Are they coming to my party? He asks immediately. I don't know, I say. They didn't say, but they wanted you to have this. He opens the box and plays with the car for hours. He's happy, delighted even, but he doesn't ask about his grandparents again. And I realize he's already learning the lesson I wish he didn't have to, that presents aren't the same as presents, that things can't replace people. But he's also learning something more important, that he's loved enough without them, that the people who show up matter more than the people who mail gifts and disappear. Oliver's 7th birthday arrives on a perfect Saturday in October. The weather is cool but sunny, the kind of autumn day that feels like a gift. Our new backyard is decorated with streamers in blue and green, Oliver's favorite colors. The bouncy house I rented takes up half the lawn, already full of screaming, laughing children. Marcus is manning the grill, flipping burgers and hot dogs while chatting with neighbor dads. Aunt Linda is setting up the dessert table, arranging cupcakes in careful rows. My coworkers came. Oliver's soccer team came. The neighbors who became genuine friends came. The house is full of people who chose to be here, who wanted to celebrate my son. I keep checking my phone, checking the driveway, waiting. At 2 p.m. the party is in full swing. Oliver is playing tag with his friends, his face painted like Spider-Man, completely immersed in joy. He hasn't asked about his grandparents once. At 2:30, I stop checking the driveway. They're not coming. I knew they wouldn't, but part of me hoped. That small, stubborn part that still wants to believe people can change. That family means something. Aunt Linda finds me in the kitchen, pretending to organize napkins that don't need organizing. They're not coming, she says gently. It's not a question. No, I confirm, my voice steady. They're not. I'm sorry, Deli. I'm not, I realize as I say it. The words surprise me, but they're true. I gave them a chance. A clear, simple chance to show up for their grandson. They chose not to. That tells me everything I need to know. She hugs me tight. You did the right thing. Setting boundaries, protecting yourself and Oliver. I'm proud of you. Those words, I'm proud of you, hit harder than I expect, because I realize my parents have never said them. Not once in 32 years. Not when I graduated high school with honors. Not when I got my associate's degree while working full-time. Not when I married Marcus. Not when I gave birth to Oliver. Never, but Aunt Linda just said it. And she meant it. And somehow that matters. The party continues around us. Oliver blows out his candles surrounded by people who love him. He makes a wish with his eyes squeezed shut tight. He opens presents with gleeful enthusiasm. He laughs until his sides hurt, until he's gasping for breath, until his face is red and his eyes are streaming with happy tears. At the end of the night, as we're cleaning up paper plates and popping balloons, he runs up to me and throws his arms around my waist. "Best birthday ever, Mama," he says, grinning up at me. "Yeah?" I ask, smoothing his hair back from his forehead. "Yeah, everyone I wanted was here." And that's when I understand. He doesn't feel the absence of his grandparents because he's surrounded by presents. Real, genuine, chosen presents. The kind of love that shows up. The kind that doesn't need to be begged for or bought. That night, after Oliver is asleep, I take out my mother's letter from 6 months ago. The one with the $500 check I never cashed. I read it one last time, her slanting handwriting blurring slightly through tears. I didn't know I was crying. Then I do something I should have done years ago. I write one final response. Just 2 sentences. I fold it carefully, slide it into an envelope, address it in clear, steady handwriting. I mail it the next morning with a sense of closure I didn't know I needed. The letter is simple. "You taught me that family is supposed to be everything. But you never taught me that I'm supposed to be part of that everything too. I hope someday you understand the difference. I don't expect a response. I don't need one. The letter isn't really for them. It's for me." A final period at the end of a chapter I've been trying to close for months. 3 weeks later, Aunt Linda calls. She's been to visit my parents. She tells me they're struggling financially. The business is barely surviving, operating out of my father's garage now with no partner and few clients. They had to take out a second mortgage on the house. Ethan moved back home after graduation because he couldn't afford rent in the city. The whole family is squeezed into that house that used to feel so big, now feeling claustrophobic with failure. "They're asking about you," Aunt Linda says carefully, "wondering if you'd be willing to help them, just temporarily, just until they get back on their feet." I laugh. Actually laugh. It's not cruel. It's just absurd. "What did you tell them?" I ask. "I told them no, that they burned that bridge themselves, that you have your own family to take care of now." She pauses. "Was I wrong? You were perfect," I assure her. We talk for a while longer. She tells me Ethan is working 2 jobs, trying to help with the mortgage, that my father's reputation in the business community is ruined, that my mother has been calling relatives asking for money, but nobody will help because word has spread about what they did to me. "Do you feel bad?" Aunt Linda asks, knowing they're struggling. I think about that question honestly. Do I feel bad? Should I? No, I finally answer. I feel nothing. And that's okay. I spent 20 years feeling too much for them, worrying about them, sacrificing for them, losing sleep over their problems, while they never lost a minute over mine. Now I'm just done. They made choices. These are the consequences. "That's very mature of you," she says. "It's not maturity," I correct her. "It's survival. I'm choosing to survive instead of sacrifice." After we hang up, I sit in my backyard and watch Oliver play with the neighbors' kids. The house we bought is small but perfect. The mortgage is manageable. Our savings account is growing steadily. We're planning that Disney World vacation for next summer. Oliver's dream. This is what life looks like when you choose yourself, when you stop setting yourself on fire to keep others warm. It's not perfect. There are still hard days, still moments when I miss the fantasy of having supportive parents, but the reality is better than the fantasy ever was. That evening, I get an email from Rebecca. The credit investigation is officially closed. All fraudulent accounts are removed from my credit report. The case is resolved. "You're free," her email says. And I realize she's right. I am free. Finally, completely free. A year after Oliver's 7th birthday party, I'm sitting in my backyard watching him play soccer with Marcus. The grass is green and thick from summer rain. The sun is warm on my face. The air smells like the roses I planted last spring, finally blooming after months of careful tending. My phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. "Deli." It's Ethan's voice. Older, tired, uncertain. "Ethan," I acknowledge, my tone neutral. I wanted to call, to apologize, for everything, for not seeing what Mom and Dad were doing, for taking advantage, for not showing up to Oliver's birthday." The words come out in a rush, like he's been rehearsing them. I've been working 2 jobs, living at home, watching Mom and Dad struggle, and I finally understand what they took from you, what I took from you by letting them. "Okay," I say simply. There's a long pause. "Is that all? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Ethan? That I forgive you? That we can go back to how things were? That everything's fine now because you finally understand?" "I don't know," he admits. I wanted you to know that I see it now, and I'm sorry, really truly sorry." I close my eyes, feeling the sun on my face. A year ago, this apology would have meant everything, would have made me cry, would have made me hope for reconciliation. Now it's just words. Too late to change anything, too little to rebuild what was broken. I appreciate the apology, I say finally. I do. But I don't think we can have a relationship right now. Maybe not ever. And I need you to be okay with that. I understand, he says quietly. Can I at least send something for Oliver's birthday? I missed his 7th. I don't want to miss his 8th. I think about the expensive remote control car they sent last year. The gift without presents. The transaction without relationship. If you want to send something, send a card, I tell him, with a handwritten note, not about apologizing to me, just something kind for him, something that shows you thought about who he is, not just what he might want. I can do that, Ethan says. And Ethan, don't make promises you can't keep. Don't tell him you'll come visit if you won't. Don't say you'll call if you won't. He's a kid. He deserves honesty, not empty promises. I understand, he says again. We hang up. I don't feel victorious. I don't feel vindicated. I just feel at peace, because I set a boundary. I protected my son. I chose what was healthy instead of what was expected. Marcus joins me on the porch, handing me a glass of lemonade. Everything okay? He asks. Yay, I say, meaning it. Everything's okay. That night, as I'm putting Oliver to bed, he asks, Mama, what does it mean to be strong? I think about my mother's letter, about how she said I was strong enough to handle it, about how my strength was used as an excuse to take from me. Being strong, I tell Oliver carefully, means knowing what you deserve and not accepting less. It means setting boundaries even when it's hard. It means choosing yourself even when others want you to choose them. Are you strong, Mama? He asks. I'm learning to be, I tell him honestly. He hugs me tight. I think you're the strongest person I know. And in that moment I realize something. The revenge I took wasn't about destroying my parents. It was about reclaiming myself, about showing my son that you don't have to accept mistreatment even from family, especially from family. The legal battles are over, the debts are cleared, the relationships are severed, but the real victory isn't in any of that. The real victory is in this moment, in this peace, in this life I've built where love isn't measured in sacrifice, and family isn't defined by blood. I've spent the last year rebuilding my life from the ground up, learning that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from people who refuse to see your worth. The process wasn't easy. There were nights I questioned everything, nights I wondered if I was too harsh, too unforgiving, too cold, but then I'd remember Oliver's face at his 6th birthday party, the empty chairs, the untouched cupcakes, the way he tried so hard not to cry, and I'd remember that I wasn't too harsh. I was finally standing up for the people who mattered most, my son and myself. If my story resonated with you, if you've ever been the one who gave until there was nothing left, if you've ever had to choose between family and self-respect, I want you to know you're not alone. There are so many of us walking this path, so many of us learning that boundaries aren't walls meant to keep people out. They're gates we control, deciding who deserves access to our lives. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's survival. It's choosing to stop drowning so that others can feel comfortable. It's recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup, and sometimes the people demanding the most from you are the ones who contributed to emptying that cup in the first place. I think about the woman I was 2 years ago, the one who said yes to everything, who apologized for existing, who measured her worth by how useful she could be to others. I barely recognize her now, not because she was weak, she was incredibly strong to survive as long as she did, but because she was strong in all the wrong ways, strong for everyone except herself. Now I'm learning a different kind of strength, the kind that says no without guilt, the kind that walks away from toxicity, even when it wears the mask of family, the kind that chooses peace over performance. Oliver is 8 now, happy, confident, surrounded by people who show up for him without needing to be begged. He doesn't remember much about his grandparents. Sometimes he asks about them and I answer honestly but kindly. I don't poison him against them. I don't need to. Their absence speaks louder than any words I could say. Marcus and I are stronger than ever. Turns out, removing the constant financial and emotional drain of my family freed up space for us to actually enjoy our marriage. We laugh more. We plan for the future. We dream together instead of constantly managing crises that weren't ours to manage. And me, I'm healing. Slowly, imperfectly, but healing nonetheless. If you've stayed with me through this entire story, thank you for witnessing my journey. Thank you for understanding that sometimes love means letting go. Thank you for not judging me for choosing myself after decades of choosing everyone else. If you think someone needs to hear this story, someone who's trapped in the same cycle of giving and giving until there's nothing left, share it. Let them know they're not alone. Let them know that walking away doesn't make you a bad person. Sometimes it makes you a survivor. And if you've faced similar situations, if you have your own story of choosing yourself over family obligation, I'd love to hear it. Comment below. Share your experience. Let's build a community of people who understand that family should be a source of support, not a source of depletion. Remember, the best revenge isn't destruction. It's not even justice. The best revenge is simply living well, building a life so full of peace and joy that the people who tried to diminish you become irrelevant to your happiness. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Thank you for reminding me that sometimes the best gift you can give yourself is freedom from people who never deserved your sacrifice in the first place.